Ordinarily, I wouldn't use a dictionary definition because definitions change over time. But the definition of misconception is one that's not likely to change in the near future. So I'm going to start off with it. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm responding to a video titled 5 Misconceptions of Feminism, and I hope to identify in this video if there are any misconceptions of feminism. So, to start, the definition of a misconception is a view or opinion that is incorrect because it is based on faulty thinking or understanding. Now that that's over and done with, let's take a look at these misconceptions together, shall we?
Hi guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel, Who There? This girl right here speaks her mind. So today we'll be talking about 5 misconceptions that the world has about feminism, okay? So before I get into the misconceptions, let us define feminism. So what is feminism? Feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of political, social, and economic equality to men. Now, the key word in this definition is equality.
There are a couple of keywords in your definition of feminism, actually. Equality is just one, the other is women. Now, for feminism to be the advocacy of women's rights in comparison to men's, then please explain to me what rights men have in whichever country you live in that women do not have, and provide the evidence as well. You see, if there is a genuine legal right that men have that women don't, then perhaps you do need feminism to come in there and fix it. If not, you might find, if you look at the laws of your country, that you, as a woman, actually have more rights than men. You know, like the right to genital integrity, reproductive rights, equal representation in divorce courts, that kind of thing. You don't look like you live in a third world country, though that door behind you could use a good cleaning, and your walls would be happy with a fresh coat of paint.
Because the first misconception that people have about feminism is that women are better than men.
So let's see if I can find evidence that this is actually a misconception. According to you, feminism doesn't believe that women are better than men. So if I can find evidence of feminists claiming to be better than men, your belief proves incorrect, and it's not a misconception, right? Does it count, by the way, if the feminist is a man? Because here's an article about Ryan Gosling saying that women are better than men. What I'd like to do is focus your attention on what I've highlighted at the bottom of the little screenshot though. Feminist Ryan Gosling evidently is not just a meme, but real life Ryan Gosling who not only appreciates women, but correctly believes that they are better than men. So here's this feminist Sadaf Hassan who believes that women are better than men.
And that is totally untrue.
I'm glad that you acknowledge that women are not better than men, but you don't get to decide on behalf of all feminists, do you? Well, you don't believe this. Some feminists do, and quite a large number of them, by the tone of the castrate all men and castrate all men and kill all men feminists out there.
And so this misconception is going in the trash where it belongs because it's absolutely trash.
I agree that the idea that women are better than men should be thrown in the trash where it belongs. But it's not a misconception of feminism, is it? It's a misconception that feminists have, or at least some feminists. Now, here's the real issue. Women are better at certain things than men, and men are better than women in other areas. Women are better at nurturing than men because they're more emotive, and men are stronger than women because of musculature. Now, that's not to say there's anything wrong with being better at something, or that it's all inclusive. In general, there are reasons for most stereotypes, but there will always be exceptions.
Like the definition says, equality between men. The whole point or movement of feminism is to show that men are equal to women. So this first right here represents men, and my hand right here represents women. And this is currently how it is. The men are seen all the way here, and the women are down here. You can't even see us. And we're trying to get to a point where we're like this, where we are equal socially.
Would you do me a favour and think about that for a moment? Your analogy of men are up here and women are down here isn't clear enough. Your claim that we can't even see women is incorrect too. You're on the internet. We can see you clearly enough. More to the point, what will happen when you go to university? You do realise that you can be offered a scholarship only because you're female, right? You also understand that none of the men in your class will be offered the same male equivalent. You were born with the legal right that if anyone had come near your vagina with a knife, they could be arrested. But if you have a son, you can choose to have the skin on the end of his penis removed, and he wouldn't be asked for permission because he won't be able to speak. Let's take a breather, shall we? Your son will be strapped to a table, arm and leg, so that he cannot move, and his foreskin will be hacked off without anaesthetic. There are a couple of reasons for this. One is that women find a cut penis more attractive to stop them masturbating later in life, or to be like daddy. Does that sound fair to you? I'm about to play the sound of a baby being circumcised, so if anyone doesn't want to hear it because it is horrific, I'll put a little annotation in to skip to the end of it.
And here we go. The baby is strapped to what's called a surfboard.
Maybe you should convince other feminists to gather and protest against it, because they're strangely absent when talking about equality for men, except when they want to call any men's rights advocate misogynistic.
I mean, where would I be without my mother's lunch every day at school? I don't even know. And I think that's why we need to appreciate the things women do a lot more than we do.
So, what's your gripe here? Your mother was the one who raised you, so we need to appreciate women more than we already do. What was your dad doing while your mother was a homemaker or housewife or however you prefer to think of her? Notice that even you put your father into a position where he was not even seen. Because equality, right?
If I want to be a CEO in a company, I can, but still have a family.
Great! If you want to be a CEO in a company, go for it. But I have some terrible news. If you do have a family while you're a CEO, you won't get to spend much time with your family. Sorry to be the one to break this to you, but you can't have it all. You either have a career or a family, because one will have to be sacrificed in favour of the other. It's the same with men, of course. If they concentrate on their careers, they have to sacrifice time with family to keep their careers on track. If you can live with that, then good for you. Go out, get your career. Just don't be surprised if the only time you see your family, all you want to do is have a hot bubble bath and sleep when you get home.
Okay, so we don't want to be confined in a certain box to only being able to do this and not being able to do that.
You're not. You see how many women out there have really high flying careers? Singers, politicians, CEOs. No one prevented them from advancing. In fact, they probably got a lot of encouragement. The only person standing in the way of an individual woman's career is herself. If you want to be an engineer, then good luck. Don't give up when things get tough, and you have all the potential to succeed.
And then economic, women get paid less than men in Hollywood just because of their gender. So the female co-stars are getting paid less than their male co-stars just because they so happen not to have male sexual organs, which makes zero sense because they should be paid according to how well they act and how much money they've brought in for the movie.
Holy crap, you're so wrong in this one. I was hoping to move on to your next misconception by now. Your first is already so wrong that I could make a full video out of it. But this point is just so insane, I had to focus on it. You see, there are various problems with claiming that women in Hollywood get paid less. Primarily, there is no set wage for celebrities. Celebrities, or more often, their agents, negotiate pay. The pay is based on a number of factors which you obviously haven't taken into account. Silly things like how much money the filmmakers have in the kitty, how popular the actor is, or how popular the filmmaker themselves are. Steven Spielberg is going to get paid a shit ton more than Alfred Hitchcock just because of who they are. Also, take into consideration that a science fiction actor is going to be paid more than a comedy actor because science fiction is more popular than comedy. That's the key point in the debate about who gets paid more in Hollywood. Popularity. Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to get paid more than Tom Cruise because he's more popular. When you compare men to women, though, women in Hollywood actually get paid more than men. A lot more. They get this benefit because they're women. Because they're popular to men and women. Whereas male actors are generally more popular to women. Do you think Beyonce got popular because she could sing or because she can twerk? Did Emma Watson get paid $3 million because she acts as if she always sounds like she's about to start crying or is out of breath, or because she was more attractive? Another thing that counts towards how much a Hollywood actor gets paid is what role they were given in any film. If they were the title role, such as Superman, the actor is going to get paid a lot more than the actor who plays Jimmy Olsen, who's only a supporting character. A quick question to finish this one off. In a film where Sarah Michelle Gellar and Nicholas Brandon are in equal roles, who would be paid most, Sarah or Nicholas? It would most likely be Sarah, because she's way more popular than Nicholas.
And political, how many female presidents do you see in the world? Not many. And that is one of the fights of feminism and I think, motivations of people who are feminists to show that we are capable of doing jobs like that men can do.
We have very few female presidents, and you're correct. What's the problem here? Presidents are elected by the people, men and women. That's right, women are voting for men as well. Because we don't vote for someone based on their genitals, only their policies. Now, from this point on, I'm going to skip anything that is just your specific opinion, and I'm going to focus on anything you say that is a misconception of feminism. I don't want to have to split this video up because I could be here all night.
Another misconception about feminism is that men can't be feminists, and that's total nonsense. So it goes into the trash as well, because men can be feminists. The definition of feminism says nothing about you having to be a female to fight for feminism. It's like saying you can't fight for animal rights because you're human, or saying that white people had no right to fight in the apartheid struggle because everything was going their way. If you think about it, necessarily it wasn't. If a white man or a white lady loved a person who was not of their same skin, they were not allowed to be with them, and that's why they fought.
What branch of feminism allows men to be feminists? You know that radical feminists do in fact say that men can't be feminists, only rapists. Other feminist groups say that men can't be feminists, only feminist allies. So again, it's not a misconception of feminism, is it? It's a misconception that feminists have. I say it again, you can't speak for all feminists on this because some feminists don't agree with you. Just to disagree with you again, according to intersectional feminists, if a white man is attracted to a black woman, he has jungle fever and is racist. And if a black man is attracted to a white woman, he's racist against black people and ashamed of his blackness.
And if you're a guy and you're not a feminist, you're indirectly saying you don't think men and women are equal and that men should have more benefits just because of their sexual organs and not even because they work hard or whatever. So
I know, I was going to skip the opinions. If you're a man and you're against feminism, that does not mean that you're against women's rights. It just means you're against feminism. Because feminism is going insane at the moment. I take it you're about to claim that a woman who is against feminism is a traitor to other women. Just because you don't agree with feminism doesn't mean you think the rights should be taken away from women. It just means that you recognize that gender equality goes both ways.
that's just what I think. Next thing is that feminists can't be feminine. Now that's actually crazy because I'm a feminist and I'm quite feminine. I like to get my nails done. I like to take care of my hair. I like wearing earrings and jewelry, and I wear dresses and skirts sometimes, but that does not make me any less of a feminist. I like it when boys are chivalrous and open the door for me.
Fuck you! Open the door yourself, you lazy cow. I thought feminism wasn't about showing that women are better than men. What gives you the right to have men open the doors for you and let you go through them first? When was the last time you opened a door for a man? But who is saying that feminists can't be feminine? I googled it and all I can find for a dozen pages are feminist articles saying that feminine and feminist are not mutually exclusive. Not one article in all that is anyone claiming that feminists can't be feminine.
And the next one is that feminists are power hungry or crazy. That's not true.
How power hungry does a feminist actor need to be to desire the role of UN ambassador for women? How power hungry does she then need to be to demand that all the men of the world do everything for all the women in the world while ignoring the needs of all the men in the world? How power hungry does a feminist singer have to be to focus on her feminism over her career in an effort to get more people to adore her? How power hungry does a feminist politician need to be to demand that half of his or her staff be hired based on their gender rather than their ability? And how power hungry does a feminist politician need to be to demand that every company in the country must also hire a specific percentage of women just because they're women, or face closure? More importantly, how power hungry do you think an ideology has to be to teach you that you need us because in set reasons?
Just because we are maybe very emotional and we are very passionate, it doesn't mean we're crazy. Sometimes we might come off as angry and attacking and vicious, but that's only because we've been through so much, or we've seen that the women before us have been through so much.
Women have been through so much. Like what? Give a few examples. I don't want to live in a world where young boys are forced to fight in wars and probably die, where men can be sent to prison for rape based only on the word of a woman who, if she gets caught in a lie, will never have to face prosecution for making a false allegation. I don't want to live in a world where men are sacrificed in natural disasters or accidents to save women first. Children, yes. Sacrifice adults to save children. But all adults should be treated exactly the same way. And the only reason I agree with a woman going first is if she's already pregnant. I can prove it there and then.
People have this fear that when feminism takes over the world, because it will.
When feminism takes over the world, because it will. How power hungry do you need to be to think that an ideology will take over the world?
Last but not least is that feminists are too job oriented or work crazy.
Just like your feminists can't be feminine claim, this one never happened. Where the hell are you getting this garbage? Some feminists are very work crazy. Some want to stay at home and feed their fat faces with big, sweaty, hairy muff. You can't have a misconception about a statement if that statement was never made.
Wrong. I am a feminist and I will have my own business. I will run my own company one day. I will be successful and I will take care of my job and I will care about my job. But I will get married too and I will have kids and I will have a family.
You will have a job. You will get married. You will have a family. You will have a career. You will own your own company. All these plans you have, some of them won't come to pass. I thought I would get married and have kids, but then it turned out I can't have kids because of a birth defect. I thought I would be a vet, but then I learned I can't stand the idea of an animal dying. Plans change, so will yours. When you have your career and get pregnant, or you dump your kids off at daycare while you work. Not that it would be a bad thing, mind you, but while you are working, that'll be time you don't spend with your kids. Which plan would you give up? That of being a mother or having a career?
You want to be an engineer as a guy, I can be one too. If you want to be a chef, I can be too.
And if you want to work in childcare, fuck off, you pedophile.
So, little girl out there, you don't need a man to be successful. You don't need a man to feel self-assured. You don't need a man to tell you you're beautiful. You don't need a man to feel loved.
What message do you have for little boys, since you're telling little girls they don't need men? Hit the road, dirtbag? Go fuck yourself? Be more like women?
And guys out there, you don't need women to make you feel like more of men. If everyone could love to be themselves on their own, then I think the world would be so much of a better place, because then men would not be intimidated by women, therefore oppressing them, and women would not have to hate men for oppressing them. So let's all be feminists.
No, I'm not going to be a feminist just because you tell me to. You know what message you just sent out? You could basically translate it as men and women should avoid each other at all costs. And here's how I came up with that. Girls, you don't need men to make you feel like women. Boys, you don't need women to make you feel more like men. Men and women need each other more than you think. But here we have a society in which men are avoiding women because they're afraid they're going to be falsely accused of rape, lose their home, their kids, their jobs, because a woman only used him to get pregnant and then forced him to finance her for the rest of her life. While women are avoiding men because feminism has taught them that all men are rapists and every word a man says to a woman is misogynistic, objectification, harassment, or whatever.
Feminism is not just for women, it's for guys too. It's the fight to say that women are equal to men.
Men are equal to women too, but where are the feminist groups fighting to advocate the rights of men? Remember, you said that feminism is about equality right at the beginning. Well, it's the feminist groups that are preventing men's groups from being established and closing down any that already exist. Go suck an egg. I know that she's only 15, and I really hope that she'll grow out of this phase and learn that women and men are equally important, and that feminism is trying to deny the rights of men in order to push their agenda and give their own dwindling careers meaning. When she's pushed out a few spawn, she'll probably wonder where her career went, or when she has her career, she'll wish she spent more time with her kids. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time, and hopefully next time it won't be so dour, but this woman is just a loony.
It's really not the anger at you as the men of today, but the anger at the situation and what's been happening in past generations.
Now, if you would shut the fuck up for the 50th millionth